Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade, Reckoning of New York. And in the last episode, guys, we had a meeting with the Malkavian hacker known as Hope, who is an information savant as well as many other talents, as we remember from the previous games. But through her, we were able to go into the circulatory system facility, get the information that we wanted, and she went through it and revealed some suspicions about Addison Payne, as well as a little bit more of the same kind of information we got from Kaiser, that there's something really big going on, and we don't have all the pieces yet. However, Patty knows a little bit more than Callie does, and it's been very interesting to see how he's kind of processing this all, because he's having just as many doubts in some respects as Callie is. But let's go ahead and see what happens here as we continue on. Were we still mortal, after all of tonight's revelations, Callie and I would probably sequester ourselves in a bar and drown our sorrows as we try to unravel these two tangled skeins. Since we can't stomach alcohol, we just wander around in silence for a while we settle on a tiny little bench, hidden beneath a naked winter tree. I'd like to say that we talk, but I mostly just listen. It seems the river of Callie's frustrations has finally burst through the dam, and fast-flowing torrent threatens to drown my ears. I do not mind. She needs this the way I need my ring to quieten the raging thoughts in my head. Raging, scathing, scorching, furious. Shut up. The sheer number of times Raynor pops up in these sad files is pretty fucking concerning. Not only because of the actual shit he's pulled, but also because he's been so damn sloppy about it. They could have so much stuff on him. Stuff that could have easily been avoided if he just, don't know, put a bit of thought into his actions? And kept me in the loop, maybe? Like, it's no coincidence that there's nothing specific about me in that file, you know? I clean up after myself thoroughly. I think. Regular people wouldn't find shit. And Raynor left so much fucking trail behind him, I'm surprised he's not in some kindred Guantanamo by now. They could have bagged him without breaking a sweat. I give a skeptical, leaning forward to examine my ring, spinning it slowly for comfort. And yet, they haven't. Perhaps that speaks volumes about Josiah's ability to dodge bullets, even deep in hostile trenches. She snorts inelegantly. Yeah, well, I guess. He's Ravnos, after all. The outpouring of grievances dries up. I could let the conversation end right here, but... Any idea why Raynor might be dealing in arms with a mortal? She sighs deeply and shakes her head. Honestly, Padraic, I feel like I don't know shit anymore. I mean, Raynor was never particularly precious toward mortals, so I thought maybe we'd end up wrangling some eventually, but... Now, I just don't know. Plus, arms dealing? That's so... I don't know, it's not our style, you know? We're Ravnos, we're tricksters, con artists, not warlords. I can't recall dealing with a single mortal since my embrace almost 2 years ago. If Raynor was peddling something, I'd expect it to be fake shit, decoys or whatever, but guns? It just doesn't make any sense. I cough to indicate that I'm speaking out of turn. I hate to be the bearer of harsh truths, but I get the feeling that you never truly knew Josiah. She collects a handful of gravel from the ground and tosses it, bit by bit, into a puddle of melting snow. I don't know. Can anybody say they really know someone? Hell, do we even know ourselves? I give her a rueful smile. What are we if not the secrets we keep? Right? She grins at me at return. Who came up with that nugget? I need to shake her hand or something. You know, I think you shouldn't be blaming yourself for this dishonesty. It's quite literally not your fault. Nobody can go through this ordeal expecting to be crossed at every given moment, especially by those we trust the most. That'd be a pretty miserable existence, don't you think? I'm not equipped to unpack all that right now, sorry. Besides, I have no cash on me for that therapy session you're pushing for, Dr. Conroy. Deflection. Classic Callie. At least this time she admitted it. You know, thinking about it, we've been hunting down my sire for 4 nights, and I realize I know jack shit about yours. Care to share a bit, in the spirit of this painfully awkward moment? Tell her, little Patty. The way you were dug, defiled, devoured, discarded. You are safe, Fionn. I had nothing to hide about my province anymore. Not from Callie, at least. And frankly, I can't tell you about them because I don't know much myself. What do you mean? I simply don't know who embraced me. Pain, agony, suffering, torture, torment. Yes, all that and more. Hunger. I spin my ring until it hits 20, and then I clear my throat. It's a faint memory now, but I remember almost dying toward the end of World War II, somewhere along the Western Front, I think. And then I remember crawling out of a pile of corpses the next night. That's all. I assume I was embraced by a fellow soldier, and there's really no way to confirm. Padraic, I'm so sorry. She pats me awkwardly on the shoulder, and I nod, eyes firmly stuck on my ring. Fetter, chain, manacle. My lifeline. I've come to terms with it, but I appreciate the sentiment. We sit in silence a bit longer. There aren't many people around, but the city feels alive, bustling even at 3 in the morning in late December. Callie is increasingly uncomfortable, judging by the way her hands twitch and her legs bounce. Finally, she speaks. So, what I can't wrap my head around is why someone like Payne, a big shot Vritra, would go to such lengths to avoid buying blood through the company he partially owns. Is he like trying to back out? Tank their stock on purpose, or what? Or maybe he's plotting to start his own gig? Hard to see how with all the Vritra red tape, but maybe? Could he be setting up Reynard as his go-to supplier, or is that stretching it too much? Indeed, that does seem like a stretch. It's an audacious, almost disrespectful move. Not really Payne's way of doing things, especially when he's trying to usurp Panhard. But why else would he do that? The file did say he was buying spiked blood from Reynard. That's oddly specific. Maybe that particular type wasn't available through the circulatory system. I mean, all blood bags are spiked. That's the only way they stay edible. One of the reasons why the resident Duskborn alchemist had so much shit to do all the time in our gang. I give a contemplative slowly spinning my ring. Well, I am stumped, but hopefully we can find a way to use that information to your advantage when we face the council. You mean like exposing Payne as a fraud right in front of everyone? Damn, Conroy, that's some serious badassery for you. It would be badassery if we had any evidence of these suspicions, which we unfortunately do not. She deflates a little, clicking her tongue. Yeah, I guess that's an obstacle. And how does Vritra fit into all of this? The ever-elusive mistress of the Hudson River. Think we could dangle her as bait before the council? Oh, for the love of... I thought we wouldn't be coming back to this topic. Can't run away from the dragon, lad. Nobody can. Nobody. Silence. Tell war all about strategy, lad. Lead them. Marry them. Silence. Join them. 20. At last. I'm grasping at straws, I know, but everyone's freaked out by her. I'm not saying Reynard usually shies away from tough cases, but there's so many easier targets to scam. It's all so fucked up. I don't get any of it. I finally get my voice back. But what isn't fucked up, right? I don't get it either. For once, She seems to grasp that I don't want to talk about it and leaves the topic be, which unfortunately means I have to address the taiga in the room. Tonight marks the last night in the grace period Kadir gave you. All of our leads have dried up. It's unlikely we would find anything else of use anyway. I think we have enough circumstantial proof to clear your name in the eyes of the council, and we could trade it for your freedom. You mean for a longer leash? They won't clear me unless I hand over Reynard, and we both know it. Sure, we have some solid clues, but they're just that. The way the Camarilla treated me? Well, I'm not exactly optimistic about returning empty-handed. Best case scenario, they order me to stay in the city and give me another impossible task. Worst case scenario, Kadir takes my head clean off my shoulders. I don't even know where that leaves you. Technically, you were just supposed to keep an eye on me, but... She gestures vaguely. I sigh, defeated. Knowing the council leaves me deep in the pit of despair, I suppose. I squint at the starless sky. I miss seeing the eternal lights. Perhaps I should leave the city and find peace and quiet elsewhere. Not quite yet, though. Not until Vritra holds up her end of the bargain. There's still time until sunrise, but I doubt we'll find anyone at Elysium tonight. I look at it carefully without concealing the doubt and pity in my eyes. Do you have a safe place to stay the day? You're welcome at my haven if needed. The couch should still be there, I believe. She cracks a faint smile. It should still be there, huh? Good thing you didn't get into sales, because you wouldn't sell shit. I have some options, I guess. I've only used a couple of our safe houses around New York so far. I don't know. Can I catch up with you later or something? I need some time to think. On my own. She. Think, thought, thunk, thinkin', thinned, trashed, tarnished. She'll be fine. And I will be waiting. I stop spinning my ring and nod curtly. Take your time. I'll wait for you until dawn. She chuckles disbelievingly, and a hint of bitterness creeps into her voice. What if I skip town or something, taking advantage of your misguided generosity? I don't think you will. You haven't this far, have you? I stand up and look down at her intently. I still believe we can turn this Titanic around before it crashes into the iceberg. We just need to get a hold of the steering wheel. I give her shoulder a reassuring pat and stride off into the night, leaving her to her ruminations. Same river twice, yeah. In the quiet of my haven, thoughts of what could befall Callie tomorrow ran through my head at triple pace. I'd understand if she chose not to face the travesty of justice that is the council, but I don't think she'll back down from a challenge, hopeless as it may seem. It's a long walk to my haven, through streets slowly filling with people, the darkness dispersed by soft, warm light spilling from the windows. Were I still mortal, I might have taken a bus, daunted by the effort and cold, wary of the dangers lurking in the alleyways. As a kindred, I walk. Who am I to fear, being the apex predator of the night, and the forever cautious one at that? As I wander, so do my thoughts. It's been a difficult night, for Callie in particular. We've uncovered much, but we have no more time, and no answers of any value to the council. Callie's definitely got the short end of the stick here. I can't help feeling sorry for her, especially since none of it is her fault. It's just that her sire is a Class A twat. Moments like these, I'm almost glad I never knew mine, even though that's left me with a plethora of my own unanswered questions. Perhaps the council will listen to reason, just this once. Or perhaps they'll decide to prolong this torture and try and lure Reynard Castle out with a less civilized method. There's little I can do about it, except to just wait for dawn. My haven is exactly as I left it, but with my thoughts circling around Callie like a maelstrom, I can't even take comfort in the mundane. Will she find another burrow to shield herself from the day? Perhaps she'll simply flee, leaving behind the fighting, the freezing, the fawning, and aim straight for survival. her game of choice. Or will she follow her daredevil nature, which pulls her around like a dog on a leash, and show up my doorstep minutes before dawn? She must know that it would mean appearing before the council tomorrow night to plead a case and possibly lose. I keep thinking about it. Such ruminations lead to nothing. I'll find out soon enough either way. I settle down to my worn armchair and pick up a half-read copy of Finnegan's Wake. Not what I call a light read, but I've never really cared for simplicity. The more bizarre, the better, as it quite aptly mirrors my own existence. My concentrating on the unique texture of Joyce's prose helps me calm down, rise above this world, untangle the mess inside my head. But then, I hear a knock on the door. A soft one, hesitant, of two minds. I open the door and see Callie on the other side, drenched and exhausted, a sheepish look on her face. Come in. Sun's about to rise. I move aside, she just slips past me into my haven. Daredevil it is. She tries to look around nonchalantly, as if she weren't a walking mess barely held together by a web of equivocations. You didn't oversell it. The couch is definitely still here. I guess it's far too old to sprout legs and walk off. I grin at her, hoping that she'll appreciate the lame joke. I know it's not stylish, but I'm quite fond of it nevertheless. Let's say it's charmingly dilapidated. Would you rather use the bed tonight? It wouldn't be any... She throws up a hand and immediately cuts me off. No, that's okay. Just making sure we won't find ourselves in the infamous only one bed situation. I seem to have lost the thread of this conversation. Again. Callie sees my confusion and starts waving her hands around. I mean, you're into all this bookish stuff. I thought... Never mind. It's nothing. Believe me. I just nod, deciding not to pry any further and put the book back on its shelf. Meanwhile, Callie settles down on the couch, but judging by the relentless tapping of her fingers, I gather she's in no state to sleep. Penny for your thoughts? Or perhaps 2 cents? Just going through my list of excuses for tomorrow night, because, I'd like to keep my head where it is. Are you thinking of anything in particular? I know you're wary about even bringing up Vritra, but I'm fucking desperate here. I'm ready to throw out any fake-ass Sabbat bullshit they'll cling to her even the slightest bit. Vritra again. It seems there's no escaping from this sleeping dragon. Never sleeping, always scheming. Just like you. Just like you. Shush. Mention Vritra is a dangerous move. You know how contentious she is to the council. I strongly advise against it. A relentless barrage of curses runs through my mind, clouding my emotion with a flood of raw emotion. Fear. I stop fiddling with the books and sit down next to Callie on the couch. The council doesn't have a stellar track record lately when it comes to making rational decisions. However, the web of Yesiah's connections is extensive, which absolves you of direct involvement. The council has no reason to put you down. I hope my tome is firm enough to finally get through to her. What happened is not your fault, Callie, and I'll stand by you tomorrow. That's a promise. She still looks a mess, but now there's also a faint glimmer of resignation in her eyes. Is there any way I could cheer her up in the face of impending doom? Well, I do have a small gift for her. I reach toward the nightstand to retrieve the batteries I put in there. Then I place them in her hand. I almost forgot. You'll make better use of them. Confused, she looks down to see what I've handed her. Unfortunately, the longer she stares at my gift, the sadder she seems to become. Did I make a mistake? You sure you're alright? She forces a smile. Yeah, everything's fine, thanks. I guess I'm not really in the mood for music right now. But I really appreciate the thought. The voice quivers, so I nod. understanding that she needs some space. She lies down on the couch, fiddling with a Walkman, and is soon fast asleep. I linger until the first rays of sunshine thrash against the heavy blinds of my windows. Then I settle on the bed to sleep as well. But I can't chase away the unease in the pit of my stomach, for I truly fear what the night will bring. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom. Helene. Addison, what a surprise. What pearls of wisdom will you bestow upon me today? The thought alone is giving me a migraine. You know exactly why I'm here. I do, but don't let that stop your soliloquy. This ship of ours is sailing too fast to simply turn back now. The course is set, and it seems that our captain is struggling to command her crew. A faltering captain is hardly the right kindred to help us weather this storm, don't you think? Choosing our captain isn't your place, dear friend. Perhaps not, but it could be yours. The tides of change are upon us, Helen, whether you're prepared or not. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be. It'd be better if you stepped aside while you still can, before it becomes inevitable. Would it now, Addison? The cards have been played in your favor, I know, but if you choose wisely, you might even seize the role of Primogen in my stead. Think of what I've said, but quickly. Time's another ally you can't count on anymore. Helen. And that's the Fleshcrafter. Complete the Hope chapter, okay? End the night, and we know interesting things are going to be happening tonight. Explosive things. 3 nights till New Year. Today the void feels almost comfortable. Warm, soft, smothering. So much so that I wouldn't want to wake up. Why would I? Yes, lad, yes. Drown, die, dust. But I can't stay here forever. I need to wake up. I have to. I must. I claw my way out of sleep, pointlessly gasping for breath. It takes me a long while to calm down. My nerves are frayed and they snag on my thoughts. Oh, little Paddy is scared, scorched, screwed. I check the windows and discover that some time has passed since sunset. Urban landscapes never cease to amaze me, especially in a city as big and lively as New York. So many lights, cars, sounds, people rushing around no matter the hour. Such a stark contrast to the era of my mortal life. I can sense that Callie's awake now, but she seems to be in the mood for brooding. I leave her to it and calmly watch the nightlife outside the window until she pounds her fist onto the couch. A hollow thunk fills the room. Good evening. Hope you slept well. She doesn't react. Very well. We should make a move. They're probably waiting for us already. What's the rush? It's not your head that's at stake here. True, but I promised I'd stand by you, remember? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just worn out and freaking out. Understandable. After all she's been through the past night, she has the right to be exhausted and afraid. Desperate, like a rabbit caught in a hunter's snare. Listen. She rolls her eyes in vivid annoyance. If you're gonna start with that... Callie, calm down and hear me out. Just this once, without interrupting. My voice turns firm, cool, and curt. So much that she obediently closes her mouth. Well, I wish I'd discovered this trick 3 nights ago. Look, I can't promise you a rosy outcome. No pep talk either. You're too clever for that. What I can promise is that I'll be here for you, and do my best to convince the council to let you go. She just nods, somewhat dazed. I see the way my words, so uncomfortably raw and sincere, help her break through the haze of anxiety and exhaustion, anchoring her to the here and now. But I'm happy to provide such comfort, as long as I'm able to. So, are you ready? I was born ready. Embraced anyway. We head to my car in silence. Callie looks at it for a while, eyes empty, before inexplicably patting it gently on the roof and getting inside. No words pass between us. I'm too focused on remaining cool and collected in the face of what I know shall come. And Callie just seems too scared. Bad omens. The night of reckoning. I promised Callie I would stand by her, and I fully intend to keep my word. Come what may. We drive mostly in silence, which suits me just fine. Guess there's not much left unsaid at this point, and really, not much I want to talk about either. I pull up a few blocks shy of the Elysium and park in an alleyway shadowed by half-built tenements that look like cautionary tales about urban decay. Why are we stopping here? The art hole is a couple blocks down. I'd rather not have them see us coming from a mile away. Besides, a little walk might do us good, no? She just nods, with a hint of relief perhaps. Walking won't change anything, as we both know, but maybe it helps steel the nerves for whatever's waiting at the end of this trek. The walk is quiet. Just a crunch of snow underfoot and the looming skeletons of buildings around us. Their empty window frames like open mouths howling at the sky. They remind me of dead trees. Hollow, eerie, yet enticing. Straight out of a gothic novel. The irony isn't lost on me. Mired in my thoughts, the sounds of a heated discussion from one of the sites completely evade my notice, but not Callie's. Who the fuck does construction at this hour? Nobody, of course. Not without the proper lighting, at least. Shh. This way. I pull her sharply toward the fence and motion for her to observe the source of the noise. Who's the hunter? Who's the prey? Shut up. I see three mortals with worn-out clothes engaged in animated conversation, probably of the nefarious type. Great. A bunch of thieves. Or just idiots betting who can haul off a T-bar. Big deal. Let's keep moving. Hanging around here isn't exactly helping me. I catch a glimpse of a handgun out peeking from one of the belts. I'm not sure they're just thieves, Callie. Leave it, Pads. What's it to you? What a boys are up to? My eyes narrow as I notice more details. They tense as coiled springs, and one of them's wearing what looks to be a bulletproof vest under his jacket. They could be undercover, maybe DEA on a stakeout? I doubt they're the feds either. You think? Hunters. Probably a scouting party. This close to Elysium? Fuck. We spy on them, and when the scratchy sound of a radio cuts the silence short, I can't hear the words, but they immediately dash into the building, their steps echoing up the stairs. Look how they run, dash, sprint, climb, jump, fall. Boom. I look over at Callie, while my fingers busily twirl my ring. Let's go after them. That might not be the best idea. I'm not sure. Oh please, you've already made up your mind. Your face screams conundrum loud and clear. Right. Boom, gloom, doom, doom, doom. I have a bad feeling about this. We should uncover what they're up to. She nods and starts for the building, her every move cautious and calculated. And I follow, silent as the grave. Alright guys, I think this is a good place to go ahead and... Yes indeed. So we're about to see the attack on Elysium from Patty's point of view and all the aftermath. So we'll go ahead and pick this up in the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.